Welcome to the podcast, guys. A podcast that we haven't named yet.
We have no name for it yet,
No
but
name.
hopefully very soon we'll have a name for it and we'll go from there.
I mean, I think we should come up with a name while we're in here.
You think so?
Yeah, by the end of the podcast, we should probably bounce off ideas and actually pick a name because
You already have a task for us, and we just got started.
I mean, I guess I don't want to leave without having a name, right?
Let's
what
see.
do you think?
Or hopefully we could just leave it for the viewers. What do you think about that?
I don't know. Our first viewers are gonna be our friends, and
You think so?
We have clowns as followers on Instagram.
You never know. You never know.
Wait, how you doing though? Like, how's the day?
Man, today has been very busy,
Yeah,
and out of all the days that it decides to rain,
exactly.
today, the first day that we decide to launch,
Exactly.
it wants to rain. Obviously, a lot of traffic getting
Yeah.
over here and stuff, but we're here now.
Mm.
I like to look at it as it's a blessing from above. You
I
know,
see. I
this
see.
this is a blessing,
Mm.
sending us rain obviously on our first day, and we take it as it comes.
Yeah, that is actually true. It doesn't rain so much in Dubai, so like whenever we get it, we get
Ever.
it. Yeah,
It doesn't rain ever.
yeah, like just few times a year. Like just maybe once or twice in the entire year, to be honest.
How long you been here in Dubai?
I've been here since 2020.
2020. Okay,
Yeah.
so you came 1 year before me.
Yeah. So we actually, in fact, there was one time we did have rain. Last year, we actually had like heavy rain last year.
I remember we had maybe like 2 instances or something that we did have rain,
Yeah.
and everything was gridlocked.
Yeah, actually.
I'm
we did
talking
have a
about
lot-
floods everywhere.
Yeah, exactly. Like we had like heavy rain last year. We
It
actually did
was
have
it,
heavy
it was
rain.
insane, but
Yeah.
it is what it is.
Yeah.
But what brought you to the Dubai initially? Like,
I actually came here for to do my last year in university.
okay,
Yeah, at Middlesex University. Like
Middlesex.
Yeah, Middlesex.
Honestly, it's interesting that you mentioned that, because I'm actually considering on doing a master's degree, a second master's degree at Middlesex.
Bro, you like school, isn't it? No?
Man, like, listen to me. We only have a limited amount of time here.
Yeah,
So we
true.
might as well do something useful with it.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Initially, I came to Dubai to do my first master's degree, and that was in international business. And I've been working for the last year, and I do, I like obviously strictly just working. Obviously, I was a student prior to working for many years, and now I've decided, like, you know what, I kind of miss the classroom. I want to get back.
do?
And
Like I get it from I get from a career standpoint, but like I can't believe I've never heard anybody say I miss the classroom.
Really?
Yeah. I mean I don't miss it. I want to go do my master's in like data science,
data science. What was your undergrad in?
IT.
IT.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
got it.
So you
got
like
it.
you know me in data, like I be going crazy talking about like
You're-
that shit for days.
You're a freak in the sheets.
Exactly, for data and all that stuff. But like we've had the whole discussion. Like I think we spoke for almost like 20 minutes or the entire time we were at the mall.
Yeah, honestly, it was a good conversation.
Yeah.
What we were talking about, and that's something that honestly it brings me to my next point. You know, ever since we met,
Yeah.
we've always had very good conversations,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Obviously, doing this now with you and being on a podcast and talking, I wouldn't have imagined that this is what it would come down to if I think about the first time that we met.
Yeah, I think. Yeah.
Do you remember the first time we met?
We met on the yacht, isn't it?
We met on a yacht.
Yeah,
yes,
we went on the yacht.
and we were partying.
Yeah.
Um,
But wait, how did we start talking to each other on the yacht? I think we were just dancing and stuff, I guess.
I'm not gonna lie. I saw you. I saw you dancing, and me. I'm all about music.
Yeah.
Growing up, obviously music was a big part of the culture. Dancing, doing all the just moves. It was just in my blood.
Yeah.
And not too long ago, maybe like 2 years ago, I started getting into like Afro beats and stuff, because it's very similar to the Caribbean rhythm that I'm used to.
Yeah.
So, I started to grow a passion for like listening to Afro beats. And at the yacht that day, I don't know if you remember, they were playing heavy Afro beats.
Yeah, I every time I go to the yacht, I'm just like, DJ Pac, bro, you gotta play like you need to play me some bedu, like
Right,
some
right.
good Afrobeat music I can dance to,
Right.
because like I'm never really feeling the other type of music like that's like maybe like old school hip hop
Exactly.
and R&B and stuff. I need some proper bedu, that
Right.
kind of
And
thing.
I remember the same time, like you were doing all of these moves and stuff. And I'm over here in the corner like, wait, hold on. This guy actually has it,
Yeah,
So I
yeah.
remember I think it was me that started having the conversation with
Yeah.
you. And I'm over here trying to mimic your dance moves and stuff to see like, okay,
yeah.
maybe
Okay,
I can
remember now.
do this too, right?
Yeah.
And then from there we just we
Yeah.
hit it off. It
Yeah.
was a good conversation. Obviously we stood connected and stuff, and we met a few times.
Yes, we did.
And obviously just the flow of everything, it just clicked. And one day we just decided,
Yeah.
like, you know what? I think the types of conversations that you and I have could be valuable for other people.
Yeah. Yeah.
So essentially, it was a very spontaneous and something that kind of came out of
yeah.
the blue.
Yeah.
But I'm glad we did it.
Yeah.
It feels natural.
No, actually, I think like our friendship has like grown, from just partying, because I can remember like, the first time we met, and it was always like, oh bro, like what you doing tonight, and that kind of thing, it was just like, it was either I was calling you or you were calling me.
Yeah.
I mean, mostly you calling me.
Ah.
Or was it you just called me like, bro, what are you doing tonight? Like, where were you going? Because I'm always down to like, go party. I love partying.
But let's be honest.
But
Who's
yeah.
the bigger party animal, you or I?
I would say you.
No,
Yeah.
never.
No, please don't.
I-
Don't
No,
disgrace me.
I like the party,
Yeah.
but I have to. I would say that you do have a bit more of like a
Energy
party
for it.
edge for sure.
Yeah, no,
for sure.
I love partying. But like, of course, recently, like we're trying to, or me more specifically, I'm just trying to like stay off it, because it really got to a point where, and I never done on all of this before. I've always been very, very focused on career, like making money. I've always, bro, I've been in this country for like what, 3 years now. Like I've never been close to the Burj Khalifa.
Really?
I don't do all of that stuff. Like I don't go out. Like it's
Really?
never been my habit. I just, like, for me, I was just like, see, if I'm not making money, I don't necessarily deserve to do these things. Like, because what am I going outside to do, to go see Burj Khalifa?
Got you. But I'm that raises a question for me,
Yeah.
because like, how do you cope with disconnecting from work? Like how, like, let's say obviously, you work a lot, you have obviously very rigorous hours and
Yeah,
stuff, but
yeah.
being able to take that time to step away from whatever it is that obviously occupies the most of your time, and saying, you know what, I'm gonna do something different, and kind of disconnect. Like, how do you usually cope with like disconnecting yourself?
Earlier, I think I would say earlier in my career, from Dubai, I'm just gonna take it from Dubai, or let's say about 2018, because that's when I started like my little small agency back in Nigeria.
Yeah.
There was no disconnecting, because for me, and we've been together, like for me, it's like all I care about is making money. Like that's all I care about, because for me, like most of the problems that I had, or most of the things I had in my head, or most of the emotions or most of the problems were related to money, and I thought that money could solve most of these things, right?
Got you. Yeah.
And then now it's really stressful. Of course, I work like night hours, because I work for a company in the United States. So I'm usually working at night and all that stuff, right? And now I'm at a good place in my life in terms of my career, in terms of how much I make. Something I've shared with you as well. So it's it's really good. But it's right now it's so stressful. It's extremely stressful. And because of course I work from like 6 p.m. to like 2 a.m., 3 a.m. in the morning.
Yeah, it must be. Yeah, it's tough.
Yeah,
man.
it's tough, And I've always had bad sleep, especially since I came here. I only sleep for 2 hours Like no matter how tired I am, sleep for 2 hours, I wake up instantly. But when I'm done with work at that time, I'm not sleeping. I would only sleep around like 8 a.m., 9 a.m., 10 a.m.
So you're usually up about 6 to 7 hours after you're done with what you.
So like one day, something happened, something bad happened, and I got invited to the Plugs party. It was a villa party at the time.
Got you.
They were doing villa parties exclusively at the time, and I'm just like, because I wasn't a party person and I didn't necessarily like the idea of it, and I'm just like, you know what, fuck this shit, man. Let me just go figure out what's there, bro. I went there that day after work. I was like 4 a.m. when they usually start, 4 a.m., 5 a.m. They usually start. I go there, party my ass out, bro.
You let it all out on the dance floor.
I was like, I wasn't feeling good. Something happened. And I was like, you know what? Let me just go. When they partied my ass out, the next day, same time, they saw me there. No. That's when this thing started. This was February this year. Since then, I never really missed a week of partying. Every single week. Every single weekend, actually.
It was a full-time job.
Yes,
huh?
Every single weekend. And at some point I was doing it Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday morning. One time Monday morning. This was that's like 3 a.m. Monday.
So I can have my point proven that you indeed are more of a party animal than me.
I love the partying, but recently, of course, like I've just had to dial it down a little bit. I can't do like maybe that's my point of like enjoying myself and like relaxing after work, because work is really hectic.
Yeah.
But now it's like, okay, I've gotten to this point. Like I worked hard and I got to this point. Okay, cool. I felt okay, let me enjoy myself a little bit.
Right.
Right. And so now at this point where, okay, I need to move on to the next step. I need to start partying, because it really got to a point where I was itching every single day at 11 p.m. Every day, a weekday, 11 p.m. I was itching to go outside.
To go out.
And so it became a problem. And that's when I did the whole 3-week streak and stuff.
I did have a phase not too long ago where I was partying more frequently than I do.
Yeah.
And to be honest, what I found is that this type of life for me, what it gave me was a sense of emptiness, right? Because when you go out you talk yourself into saying that you need a good time, but at the same time, what you're doing is that you're fulfilling other people's temporary desires. You go out and people tend to look for you only to go out. This is basically what the conversations are usually like, right? Obviously, there's a lot of things that come with it. You start to meet, girls and all these things. And that, for me, wasn't doing me well. I was essentially thinking about things that I shouldn't have at times that I shouldn't be thinking about them.
Interesting.
So it would sometimes maybe get me distracted from, what I had going on at the time, work, exercise, certain things. Obviously, like me, I'm all about fitness, and being able to go to the gym and stay fit.
Yeah.
But if I'm partying until 5 a.m. with, God knows how much alcohol in my system.
Actually, like 6, 7 a.m. in the morning when we're partying together.
Sometimes, it's just counterproductive, obviously, for whatever it is that I want to achieve at the time. And, I had to make a decision and say, I have to step back, right, from this lifestyle.
Yeah.
Because it just wasn't benefiting anything, in terms of my finances. Obviously, there's a lot of money you're spending when you're going out, spending time entertaining people, my time, my sleep. These are things that I value. My exercise. Also, the types of communication that I have with people, It all ties down. If I'm not getting enough sleep, I'm not wired. I'm not connected.
True.
And that it just trickles down to a lot of aspects of your life. And, I just had to step away from that for some time, and now things that make me happy, I promise you, and I feel like this is so important. I love spending time with myself, and I feel like that's a big issue that many people may struggle with. There's a lot of people who don't know how to be alone. And it's not something that you're born with. It's something that's acquired over time, and something that you learn through experience. Obviously, if you're lucky enough to have mentors and people that are able to do things in a certain way, that you're maybe able to take certain things from it and turn it into your own, then that's good. But there's honestly, I find happiness in just being at home, maybe cooking a meal, watching a film, and just being by myself. Something that in the past I would have been like, wow, this is a boring Friday, this is a boring Saturday, right? Like, what am I doing at home on a weekend? This is what I would tell myself.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I personally like you saying that is something I don't know if I struggle with it, but like, I like partying. The only reason I'm dialing it down is because now I need to focus on other things, right? I need to focus on what's next. But it's something that's become a part of me. Like you see me at the parties. Like I just go there. I'm not really looking to talk to any girls or looking to talk to anybody. I'm just dancing.
They usually come to you. That's what it is. Huh?
Exactly.
You're like a magnet. Huh?
Yeah,
that's what it is.
People magnet, not necessarily a chick magnet, but people magnet. I have both men and ladies, come to dance with me because like my energy is radiating at that point. I really enjoy it. It helps me relax. It helps me, just go all out. And I burn a lot of calories, by the way.
Really?
I burn a lot of calories.
You've been
doing
your tracking.
You know my tracking.
You track your sleep. You track the exercise, everything, man.
Everything. But it's something. Of course, we have to dial down a little bit to then refocus, because especially during the weekend. If we're out on Friday night, we wake up like groggy in the afternoon. Or in the morning,
completely
you don't do anything else.
For sure.
So like now I'm just trying to, take new courses. This weekend I was literally working on setting up a whole new product management software for the entire team as well. So that made me happy. Because I was doing something, I was learning something new that I could use in my career. So yeah, I guess it's for the best, at least at this point in time, to dial it down a little bit. Once in a while we could do that.
You have to disconnect. Life is all about a balance. Yeah. Anything that you do, whether it's anything in excess, is detrimental to your progression.
Yeah.
Anything, right? I would even argue that too much water can hurt you.
Yes,
right?
It could actually.
So it is what it is, right? But it also comes down to being able to see and have that awareness for that. Comes down to maybe personality types. And this is something that brings me to my next topic.
Yeah.
And we had taken an assessment.
Yeah.
Maybe you want to tell them a little bit more about what this assessment entailed.
So basically it's like, I was just sitting down, right? And I just thought like, okay, let me take this Tai Lopez, test assessment, because I'm a very, very big follower of that guy. He has had the most impact in terms of my life and my career.
Okay.
Yeah. The thing that I do now for work, the thing that I've always done, was as a result of actually watching his course. Like all the sales techniques, all the marketing techniques, every single thing actually came from him.
Gotcha.
Funny enough. So he was just speaking on one of these podcasts that I usually watch, and he mentioned this test And I was just sitting down like today, and I just like, okay, let me pull out this test and just see what it is, because like it's a more detailed test, personality test, a life compass test, as he likes to call it, and that's how it's called online. It's a more detailed test than what we're used to. When we take all these tests online, they give us just a personality, ESTJ, INTJ, that kind of thing. He's just like more detailed. It shows you different things as well. It's really interesting that the results, that came out, because they were, because of the results of this. I don't want to say it's accurate, but
okay. So,
but it is accurate.
Do you feel that there's a discrepancy between how you view yourself as Lawrence and what the assessment results were?
I think it's accurate.
You think it's accurate?
I think it's personalized. So how you have these astrology tests, for the whole Libra thing, and they give out this general bullshit. I don't believe in that nonsense. I think it's absolute nonsense.
Got it.
But also the personality set tests that do give you that INTJ, ESTP, that kind of thing, right? That's accurate for the most part. It can be generalized, but this gives you numbers. This gives you accurate data on specific character traits.
Yeah.
And that was what was amazing to me. It was. It really was.
It was, for me, it was a bit...
Did you watch the video after?
I didn't, to be honest.
Oh,
to be fair, I did the assessment right before I left the office today.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking like, man, I gotta run. We have to get this podcast started, and I'm rushing through it. Mm-hmm. I answered it truthfully, right? And I said everything that, I answered the questions to the best of my ability in what I believe is the truth.
Yeah.
But yeah, I wasn't able to see that video at the end. Was there some?
Yeah, there was a video. Actually, it actually helps to go deeper into basically explaining the terms and the numbers in there. Okay. Right. So I'm just gonna go with your test.
You're gonna share my results first.
Okay. You know what? You pull out your test. I'll pull out mine. All right. Yep. You pull out your test in there. So it's like basically it's called a life compact quiz, right? Okay. And the first, if you look there on your
let's have a look.
Yeah, you check. You pull out yours, and the first few things you see there is the confidence/ego factor.
Okay. Okay. How about this? Sorry, let me interrupt you for 1 second. Should we? Let's go line by line. Yeah. And compare the numbers. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Confidence, yeah?
Confidence/ego factor.
Okay.
Because that's important to actually put the full thing. I'll explain why. I scored 62.
You have a 62% confidence out of 100.
No, /ego factor. I'll explain why I have to say that.
Okay.
So what's yours?
Mine is 42.
Okay.
Okay.
Now, let's just say like we have a line scale, right? And there's a middle in between, and there's a 50-50, right? You have ego on this side, right? On your right side, on my right side.
Okay.
And you have confidence, right, on this side.
Got you. Okay.
Now, it's just one variable. That's just one variable, right?
All right.
Now the extremes are at the end of each place, and this is a confidence value, right? And there's a 50-point divider in between confidence and egoistic or ego.
Okay, got
it.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Now, I'm on the 62 lane. So I have more ego than confidence. It's the same thing. It kind of means the same thing. It could mean the same thing, but I have more ego. Like I'm cocky. I'm not confident.
Okay. So anything above 50 leans you more towards
the ego. Yeah. But you see, on those scales, the extremes are the extremes. So if I scored 100, I'm egoistic. I could be a narcissist.
Got it. Okay, so that's the split. It makes sense now, because when I first saw it, I was thinking, okay, confidence/ego 42. So I was like, what am I more? Am I more of a egotistic person,
Yeah.
or am I leaning more towards the confident side, right?
Yeah. So you're
Okay,
a confident guy.
Okay.
But you don't necessarily have a big ego.
Okay,
Yeah.
got it.
Yeah.
I would like to say that that's true.
Yeah.
Right? I would like to say that's true.
Yeah.
I do have a lot of confidence in what I do, right?
Yes.
And my confidence doesn't just come from nowhere.
Yeah.
I know obviously the amount of work and effort that I put into things that I actually want to achieve.
Yeah.
Right? So it's it's not about me telling myself, oh, if I do this,
Mm-hmm.
it's more about when I do this, right? So me, it's funny because I was having a conversation not too long ago, and there's this fine line between where you are in life and where you want to be, right? And what people usually tend to think about is that, okay, I'm here, and their focus is where they want to be, right? And the important thing that I feel people miss is that you have to generate action points between these 2 points, your initial and end point, right? And it's not more about where I want to be, but where is it that I'm heading next that I know is going to lead me closer to where it is that I want to go, right? And that for me, the way I'm able to go through these motions and go from one step to the other, knowing that I'm reaching my goal, is more about having that confidence in myself. Understanding that things are not going to be easy at times, and creating frameworks that will allow me to suppress the sense of it being difficult, right? So if you go into something knowing that it's difficult, when it gets difficult, you're not surprised.
Absolutely.
So it's more about, it's like it's like if I were to tell you right now, I'm going to do 100 push-ups without stopping on this floor right now. To be honest, I probably cannot do it.
That's what I was just saying.
I probably cannot do it. I probably cannot do it. But I bet that if I go into it knowing that it's gonna be difficult, let's say I could probably bang out a good 50 without stopping. I know that once I get to 50, I know it's gonna get hard. So once I get to 50 and the world is tumbling down on me, it just understanding that it was gonna be difficult to begin with allows me to maybe not make it to 100,
but push a little bit more.
Push a little bit more, and that's what life is about, creating that effort.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So you're more on the egotistic side.
No.
And you say this is accurate, right?
Yes, I would say this is accurate. Now, I have to come back to this. It's 62, just over 50.
Okay.
Because I did tell you these are the extremes. Just over 50.
Okay.
Right. It's a variable in the narcissistic traits kind of thing.
Yeah.
For example, right? It's a variable. But I'm a little bit more on the egoistic side, right? Of course, my confidence doesn't come from nowhere. I know where I was before I was here.
Right.
It took me a lot of time to get here. It took me a lot of mental, issues to get to this point that I had to deal with, that I had to focus, that I had to be hard on myself. I needed to push myself. It took me a lot of time to get here.
Right.
And of course, my parents played a big part in that as well, in building my confidence. Right?
For sure, yeah.
Of course, so that's there. But I believe I'm special.
Yeah.
I believe I'm special. I don't think that a lot of people would be able to do what I have done. There are a lot of people. Of course, some people can do it. Those people are at the top right now, of course. But there's not a lot of people like that.
Got you. No, for sure. I feel like there is some sort of wiring that certain people have, right? I do believe that anything that you want to achieve can be achieved, obviously, through hard work. But there are some people who do have some sort of talent that are able to achieve certain things that maybe certain people can't, right? So that I do believe. Look, I want to go through maybe one more. Um,
The cunning and sneakiness factor. So to explain that, it's more of a street smart versus a criminal, as you'd like to say, someone who's manipulative in that
Okay.
sense. That's how I would put it. I'm sure Ty Lopez explains it better in that sense, but this is just my understanding of this. So I could be street smart. I could be a little bit. I know. So my dad says one thing, right? My dad says one thing, and this is kind of like the street smart thing I think about. He says, "Allow yourself to be called the husband of a mad woman, so that you can go your way." So,
sorry,
and that's,
allow yourself.
yeah, to be called the husband of a mad woman
Okay.
to go your way. And this comes back to that thing I posted on my Instagram notes, that path of least resistance is my way of life, right?
Yep.
So in this sense, being cunning in that sense, right? There's a mad woman here. You're going to work on foot, right? And she's blocking everybody else's road to go where they need to go.
Yep.
But you knowing that, instead of you trying to run away like everybody's running, and she tears the shirt and holds them back, you just call her, "Oh, my wife, how are you doing?" And she's just like, remember, she's mad, like she's not sane per se, but she's like that kind of thing, right? Before you know it, easy. Meanwhile, everybody else is trying to like run, jump and all that stuff. So
is it more about?
That's
I want to know if I got this right.
Yeah.
Is it more about saying what you should say in the moment so things can go your way?
Slightly cunning, slightly in that sense.
Okay.
Not necessarily, but that could also be correct.
Okay.
Now, sneakiness in that sense is being more on the manipulative side.
Okay.
Actually manipulating, deceiving people in that sense.
Okay,
yes,
got it. Okay, so I'm very happy with my score on this one. Because to be honest,
let's just go.
I'm 23, so I'm more on the cunning side.
Yeah,
right?
Which is good. Which is
great.
Yes.
Like honestly, I don't like to look at myself as a deceiving or manipulative person, right?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, obviously there are certain times where you have to be able to adapt and code switch, right? In order for you to get by, that moment,
absolutely. Yeah. Just like the whole office politics things, for example, right? Sometimes you might have to kiss some ass. Sometimes you might have to flatter your manager, just so that when the time comes up for promotion, that bias, she or he is going to be pushing you against every other candidate.
Absolutely.
That kind of thing.
Yep.
But on the sneakiness side is more manipulative, deception by selective wording, omitted stuff, simply because you want to get your way.
Got you.
Yeah. So that
makes sense. So where are you? What's your number?
35. So I'm still
30.
on the,
okay.
still cutting. Yeah.
Okay, so we have some hope here.
If I said something like 95, you
95.
Would look at me
Wait, hold on. Maybe I have to hide behind this chair or something. I don't know.
You would have got this friendship of like,
absolutely.
But yeah,
look, let's run through these questions
real quick, because like we don't really have time. We gotta go.
We have to go very soon, but let's run through these questions.
We had a few questions from Instagram, to answer.
Yep. Do you want to share yours?
I mean, we just have the general questions, so we can just start with that. So it was more like someone was asking for finance and saving, investing advice. Do you have any quick tips to give them?
Finance and saving, to be honest, I feel now has become very, very important. Before I didn't really have a lot of financial literacy, and I didn't understand what it was to properly save your money, right? But obviously we all have something called a disposable income, and this is money that we're able to actually spend from what we make, right? So your disposable income should not be more than 20 or 30% of what you make, right? And also your fixed costs, like your rent, your bills, utility bills and things like that don't change. You don't want this to surpass more than 40%, right? So if you're able to spend 20%, you have 40% of fixed costs, you're at 60%, you put yourself in a position to at least save 30 to 40% of what you make. You know, so if you're able to break it down, and for me, like the spreadsheets, Excel sheets is something that really helps and keeps me in line with that.
Yeah, percentage-based budgeting is good.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it helps.
Employment in Dubai.
I don't work here.
You don't work here. I mean,
I don't work here.
You physically do.
I worked once. It wasn't necessarily the greatest. So you
Look,
go ahead.
employment in Dubai. For I was in that position looking for a job about 1 year ago, and it was, it was difficult in the sense that here, like back in the States, you can come from anywhere else, and if you have a proper degree, you can potentially be accepted to a top corporation and make good money. Right. This is not essentially the case here in Dubai or
I
in
think
the UAE.
here in Dubai is more like I tell people this. It's like this is not the place for freshers. Like people just right out the gate, like
Right.
You're a certain nationality, like Indian, of course, like Pakistani or like Filipino, because these are the nationalities that are have the most population here, and so it's easier for you to get into these jobs because then you have connections and all that stuff. But still, either way, it's people who have at least 3 years of experience under their belt that are able to get into jobs real quick.
Got you.
So
yeah, for sure. And last question, I'll let you answer this one. Opinion about living in Dubai. What is your opinion about living here?
I think it's safe.
It's very safe.
Very safe.
It's very safe.
Oh
Especially I know in Nigeria, it's not the safest place.
I don't want to bash my country, but yeah, it's a whole jungle going out there.
Coming from originally from New York, it's not a safe city to live in at all. And obviously having the opportunity to live in a city like Dubai is definitely rewarding.
Very safe.
In terms of, safety, the people that you meet, etc. So if you guys ever have the opportunity, to come to Dubai and have a job and, expand your career, I highly recommend it.
But you spend a lot of money, I tell you that.
You spend a lot of money, unless you're like me now, hiding under your, hiding in your home, right? Not trying to go out, trying to save money. That's where I'm at right now.
You're gonna spend a lot of money, I'm telling you right now.
But hey, man, let's wrap this up.
Yeah.
But look, we'll be coming out with another episode sometime within the next 3 to 4 weeks. We'll keep you guys updated on that.
Or a month. Because we might take time to plan, truly.
Let's see. We also want to bring a guest.
2 guests.
Why you have to tell them, man?
I mean, 2 guests. I mean, they're very nice guests. I'm sure you guys love them. And it's gonna be a good episode. But still, just let us know what you'd like us to speak about in subsequent episodes, and then we'll just speak from there. And
absolutely, we'll be posting same as the first episode. We'll be posting some questions very soon
on Instagram.
So you guys can ask away, and then we'll be happy to share it with you guys and answer those questions.
What's the name of our podcast?
Listen to me. This is a task for the second episode.
Okay.
As of right now, I honestly want the help of the viewers.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Let's try to make this as organic as possible.
Okay.
And then we'll see where we go from there. What do you think?
All right then.
Yeah.
It's a wrap. It is.
It is a wrap, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and stay safe. Safe and stay tuned.
Stay tuned, definitely. All right then. Man. Peace.